All right, question for Coach.
Coach, I know this was a D2 team, but the D2 team that played pretty well against Long Beach State, and you guys, win by almost 20, or more than 20, excuse me. I thought you were, hobbling and injured and didn't have, your full steam, I guess, with the injuries and stuff, but everyone looked pretty good tonight.
Well, I'm pleased that we've never said one word to anybody about them being a D2 team. That's a good college basketball team that we knew already. They had an exhibition game against Maryland, and it caused fits there for a bit. They went to Long Beach State, and it was actually a 4-point game with 4 minutes to go. They run a very difficult offense. They run the Princeton offense. It's next to impossible to guard on a one-day preparation. We only had 1 day from the time that we landed here on Sunday from a Nevada game. We had a Monday practice. We were here until 9:30 or 10 with the team. Came back, and I thought it was as much as I could expect from our team, given the time of year, given the limited practice time in preparation, and it's a team that runs a matchup zone. So they have 3 or 4 areas that are difficult. We had to prepare for the zone offense that was real aggressive and extending at times. We had to prepare for the Princeton, and then we were coming off a flight and a return. Now, the most important part of that game in my mind was that we played a really good first half at Nevada, and we faded really down that second stretch. Tonight, we built an all 9-10 point lead. We pushed it back up to 18. They answered, got it back to 9, and our concentration focus, I thought, was the best part, was that we answered the answer. As I told the team, and that was probably the best part of it, that the consistency that we had. We scored 32 and held them to 20. We scored 33 and we held them to 24. That's Cal Poly scored, 64 to something, and the control of the ball, a few turnovers here and there that I didn't think that we had to have, where we just were not expecting the trap, and they did a good job giving them credit there. So it is a game I'm pleased with, an effort I'm pleased with, and most importantly, a game plan and concentration from our guys that I was really pleased with.
Well, some of the discussions coming into the season, David and Brian were 2 guys that experienced preseason injuries, and it continued for David at Nevada, but those were guys that maybe had questions. They led you tonight. I mean, Does that answer any of those questions that they played tonight?
I think that tonight, one of the things that you have to understand is there was a lot of adrenaline for our guys tonight. I mean, I think I heard Brian say the guys have been looking forward to coming back here for 8 months. And David rolled his ankle. It was the size of an apple during the game. He couldn't walk off the court. And in 48 hours, he was able to get the swelling out, get it taped up, and still bounce around like a high major athlete out there. And so I think that shows you kind of what, and he's also coming off a wrist surgery that he still has a band on. So I think that we're seeing is kind of an adrenaline and a toughness and a commitment to playing through some things. And then even Reese Morgan, I think that he led us to scoring the other night and it gave us a big spark off the bench. He's about 90%. David's about 80%. Brian's probably about 85%. But I think that we are seeing that experience and maturity, that they're playing a really good basketball together.
Coach, you talked about answering the answer. The second half there, it seemed like they did make the run. They got it down to 8, and it seemed like your team kind of found another level of intensity maybe. As a coach, do you feel great that they match that intensity, or is there a level of thinking that is, man, I wish they could have had that intensity right off the bat, or did they?
Well, I think that you always want, in a fantasy world, you want 40 minutes of perfect basketball, and you hope to have everything perfect. But the reality is, it's human error and concentration level. Really, when they were able to get down, they scored 4 out of 5 possessions, I believe, maybe in 5 out of 6. I know for sure they scored 3 or 4 in a row. And we changed the zone for 1 possession, kind of changed the momentum for just a bit, and we went back to the man-to-man. But the concentration, we're gonna always have human error, or physical error. But I thought mentally we were dialed in to what the game plan was. We never got beat on a back cut until the last 2 minutes of the game. We got the underneath cut off that in the last 2 minutes.
One of the things fans always look forward to in the first game at home is to see kind of new faces and how they're fitting in. Kyle Toth comes off the bench and plays 20 minutes. Scores 8 points, seemed to play pretty efficiently. Can you rate his performance tonight?
Yeah, Kyle kind of got the cobwebs off him up in Nevada. He had 20 minutes probably up in Nevada as well. Went 0 for 4 from the field, but he's a pretty experienced kid. He's been through a lot in the last 2 or 3 months with some personal death in his family, and so it's been a really hard journey for him to start the quarter off at Cal Poly. So I'm really pleased for him personally, and so it's just nice to see him be able to contribute.
Yeah, and then 11 turnovers. I think you guys only had 4 or 5, maybe. You got a really low number, I think, in Nevada. 4.
Yeah.
So 11 turnovers, maybe a little bit more than you want.
Well, always want to try to keep them down to single digits, but this is a team that I think they forced 15 turnovers against Long Beach. They with their zone and their traps and their extension, and they're trying to find an opportunity to trap you when I was there, and that's, I think we learned quickly that you can't turn your back to them because they're coming to double you.
Too soon to ask you about Delaware?
Not at all. Not at all. It's not too soon because I mentioned in the pregame talk in the tent that Friday night Cal Poly Mott Gym's going to make history. Or make history because first time in Central Coast history that 2 teams coming off NCAA Division I tournament appearance will be playing each other. So I think that maybe it was difficult. People don't hear Duke, North Carolina. Delaware beat us on their home court last year by 20, 15-20. They were ahead, and they dominated us. They won their conference tournament. They won the conference and the conference tournament and went to the NCAA tournament. I think they played Michigan State. First round and gave them a heck of a game. So Delaware's got some great returning scores. We are excited that we went all the way out there to get a team that can win a conference championship back here at the Central Coast. So it's a big game for us. We know what happened to us there, and we know how good this program is. That we're going against in Delaware, and we're looking forward to that. And we're hoping that on a Friday night that Central Coast fans, we had nearly 2,000 here tonight, and on a Friday maybe we go 2,500 to 3,000 people here for a big time opponent like Delaware.
How'd you like the big screens?
We love it. It's been something we worked on for 2 years in the fundraising efforts, and we've had them up and running for a week or two, and we've had some practices with them. Our guys feel like we are equal to other Division I programs now. You got to remember Riverside has it, Northridge has it, Fullerton has it, Long Beach has it, not to mention the major arenas. We know we don't have a major arena, but we can make our place clean and shiny and new and make an exciting place to watch a game.
Getting back to Delaware, is your team scoring enough to stay with Delaware?
Definitely not last year. I think they put 75 or 80 on us, and we got 60. We will find out Friday, but it is definitely tonight was a difficult game to score because they run 25 seconds off their clock, their Princeton offense, and then they zone. So we had to be pretty selective of when we went inside, how much we reversed it, how aggressive we were. So I think they'll be a little more aggressive. There'll be a few more possessions to score.
Anything else, Coach? Good. Thank you.